For some smartphone manufacturers, one display simply isn't enough, and for others, not even two displays is enough. The LG G8x ThinQ is the first smartphone with 3 displays, and it even folds. We took a look at it here at the IFA in Berlin. Hang on a minute, LG already has a smartphone like this, doesn't it? What about the V50? That's true in principle, but with the G8x, the South Korean manufacturer has once again refined its concept. The panel in the case is now completely identical to the smartphone display, both in terms of technology, it's OLED, resolution, Full HD+, and in size, 6.4 inches. It's a curious design. Even the dewdrop notch from the front camera was carried over by LG to the second screen, although of course there's no camera behind it. It makes it a rather pointless exercise. With the second screen you can do a lot of things, some are practical and some are not. Gamers will be pleased to have a separate gamepad on the lower screen, a large keyboard for typing is also pleasant. Extending the browser or other apps to the full 2 screens though isn't fun. The hinge is just far too wide and it just ruins the experience. Battery life should be very interesting on this device because the case with the second screen and the third mini display on the front, which only goes on for about 10 seconds, doesn't have its own battery. So that 4000 mAh cell in the G8x ThinQ has to power both displays. This should have a big impact on battery life. The software wasn't final in our test device, although most things worked, but not everything. There were crashes here and there, but hopefully this will be sorted out over time. As for the rest of the specs, the LG G8x ThinQ has a Snapdragon 855 from Qualcomm, 8GB of RAM and 256GB of internal storage. The 2 cameras on the back, which don't protrude out of the case, have 12 and 13 megapixel resolutions. There is a wide-angle camera but no telephoto lens. The fingerprint sensor is located under the display. The LG G8x ThinQ alone weighs 192 grams. Together with the display case, it's just under 300 grams. That's a fair amount of bulk. At the IFA 2019 in Berlin, LG will be showing the smartphone to the public for the first time, but will not be providing any information on the launch date or price. We'll have to wait and see if and when the LG G8x ThinQ will come to the UK and the US, and crucially at what price. I really like the idea of having a second display in a separate case. It definitely feels more practical and well protected than carrying around a foldable smartphone with a flexible display in it. Whether or not LG can inspire the mass market with this though, only time is going to tell. We also don't know what they're going to charge for this, but I don't expect it to be cheap.